Okay, we came to southern Los Angeles to Costa Mesa to Armada headquarters. First contact with anything to do with skiing on our American tour.
Here, this is Casey. Casey, this is Seth's dog, our general manager. Seth, say hi to the boys.
So what's the story behind Armada?
Armada. Well, I mean, it's basically, kind of where the name Air 5 for the first ski came from. Tanner, JP, JF, Hans Smith, Chris O'Connell, Julian Renier. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out there in that initial conversation, but basically those guys were a bunch of like-minded individuals that all had very big places in the ski industry. Obviously some of the names there with some of the skiers, those were legends of the sport with Tanner, JP, JF, Julian. I mean, those dudes kind of invented new school skiing and where it's at today. So with those guys skiing for their respective companies at the time, Solomon and Rossignol, those were kind of the two big companies that most of those guys were with. They were ahead of their time as far as skiing. So when those guys would go to their engineers and say, hey man, this is kind of what I see, what I would like for my ski. A lot of times when you're a 100-year-old ski company, it's a little tough to listen to a 20-year-old kid tell you how to build skis. Well, those guys were doing stuff so far beyond their years that no one could really kind of catch up with the conversation and what they were trying to explain and what they were asking for their skis. Well, guys like Hans Smith, Chris O'Connell were kind of lurking in the shadows there in their respective kind of corners of the industry. Forgive me, Hans. And those boys kind of saw what was going on with athletes like Tanner, JP, with their relationship on the Oakley side of things. They started to hear those guys kind of complain about ski designs and not having any feedback in where the skiing's actually going. And they are the ones dictating the direction of the sport, and they kind of felt like they should have a little bit more of a hand in that. And not only that, but they wanted to help progress skiing. More than just making money and making a cool brand that people can buy stuff from, those guys wanted to see the sport grow. And skiing was at a point where it was at a tipping point. It was either we were going to explode and we were going to be the raddest thing ever, or skiing might kind of disappear a little bit. And with those guys hearing Hans and Chris hearing those things, talking to those boys, they literally sat down, and it's kind of the old story. It was an idea hatched over those few boys just sitting around describing those things and those, I guess, kind of deficiencies with the industry, and basically saying, hey, let's make it better, let's do it ourselves. We were down the road here until about 1.5 years ago, and our old office, you could fit 8 of them just in our warehouse. So this was a pretty serious upgrade when we came into this new location. And you guys, we can't really spend a lot of time down in here. This area is a bit more closed off, but this is where all of our designers, our product manager hangs out. Mackle, our very unstable designer, lives in here, so we got to make sure that we keep as few people around him as possible, otherwise we could lose somebody. So, another room here in the back where Alan, our engineer, I'd love to show you guys, but then you guys we'd have to kill you. There's too much secret stuff back there, but Alan, our engineer, does a lot of flex tests and different weird stuff with skis back there, so we're pretty lucky to have a guy like that where he's got a place to come now. Obviously our skis are not manufactured here, but he's obviously got a full workbench back here, and he lives here locally, and he's the one with the big relationship with our factories, so it's nice for him to have a little shop to kind of tinker around in and work on stuff here in the house, so you can get direct feedback from guys upstairs before they go to manufacture things in Europe. So
where do you go skiing?
Around here, yeah, Mammoth, Mountain High. There's a lot of there's good 3 or 4 places that are within just 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and then Mammoth can be anywhere from 4 to 6 hours depending on how you hit traffic. But I'm originally from Idaho, so I'm definitely more from the Rocky Mountains and stuff like that. So I try to, when I get a chance during holidays, I go home and ski as much as I can. But skiing down here is really good. That's one of the things about Armada that people ask us a lot is, why you're in Southern California. It makes no sense whatsoever, but that's been one of the big beauties of Armada. And when you look around the building, and I mean, shoot, just from the ski graphics and designs, and it's part of one of the ways we're able to think outside the box so much easier is we don't have another ski company anywhere close to us. We have nobody looking over our shoulders, and that's been one of the things with these guys from the get-go is they really don't take inspiration or direction from the ski industry. They really look to other industries to get inspiration or graphic ideas or just flat out different ideas for the company in general. So being down here in the action sports hub of the world, just shoot, we're next door to Hurley, Volcom, Billabong, Rip Curl, Quicksilver. I mean, every single skate surf company is based right down here. So you have access to all the like-minded people and that kind of graphic community, and it's sick. And the ideas we're able to pool and pull from this area are pretty, you can't find them everywhere.
Why we picked California is that first thing when you say California, it don't give the impression of skiing
At
or
all.
snow.
Yeah.
But how is California for a skier?
Yeah, well, it's pretty funny because, especially for a guy like me, I'm from Idaho. I'm from the mountains. I'm used to living 10 minutes down the road from my local ski resort where, I get up in the morning, do my thing, skis go in the truck, and you go skiing, and then you go about the rest of your day. But, I was definitely leery about working in-house just because feeling so removed from ski culture, but you're not. It's actually pretty amazing. Like I said, there's Mountain High, Baldy. I know I'm missing another half dozen. There's a lot of ski resorts that are within an hour drive, and it's actually pretty dang cool. Just because in a single day we can ride our bikes, we can go rip turns skiing, and we can go surfing all in a single day. So it's actually pretty amazing. I've never lived in any place where I could do all three in one day, so that part's pretty damn fun. But being a skier, it's actually pretty damn rad. I always had this impression of California skiing as just being bright sun and terrain parks, but after looking at a lot of the terrain, in the Sierras, like Mammoth, it's pretty legit. There's big mountains, big terrain, lots of stuff. Especially in the Mammoth area, it's why a lot of our athletes love coming to see us, is the backcountry access from Mammoth is, I might be misspeaking here, but if not the largest, I think it's damn near the largest, most accessible as far as just total anchorage for backcountry. Out of Mammoth is obscene.